I'm Anne Lovelock, and I'm welcoming you here to the Maha Vihara in Birmingham at the Hockley flyover. This is a Buddhist centre, but you would hardly know this from the building other than the fact that the Buddhist flag is flying. The building was not built originally as a temple, but it was originally an old bank and has been taken over by Venerable Kassapa. Venerable Kassapa is a Sri Lankan monk, and he is the head monk here. The temple serves the community of Sri Lankans, some of whom live in Birmingham, but it also the Sri Lankans that come from the Midlands and further north. But Venerable Kassapa has built up a relationship with the Vietnamese community as well as some Chinese. Right, we're coming into the building now. It's customary before we go into the shrine room to take off our shoes, but there's no need for us to cover our heads at all. Well, we come straight into the shrine room. Today there are chairs here, but that isn't usual. It's just because there's going to be a ceremony here this afternoon. As a devotee, when I come into the shrine room, the first thing that I will do is light some incense, and then I will make 3 bows in front of the Buddha. Well, here we are in front of the main shrine. And one of the things that I like about this centre is that when they set it up for the 2 communities, they didn't say, right, we have this corner and you have that corner. They put everything together on one altar. And I'm going to talk about the items that are here that you would expect to see in any Sri Lankan or South Asian Buddhist shrine. First of all, you'll notice that there is a large image of the Buddha. The Buddha lived 2,600 years ago in northern India, and he was a man who became enlightened. And Buddhists don't worship the Buddha, they respect the Buddha for the teachings that he gave. The other thing that I would always expect to see on a Sri Lankan shrine is that there would be light to represent enlightenment. Then we always have some incense burning, and incense is to remind us of cause and effect, because you can light the incense here, but the effect of the incense can be carried quite a long way. There are usually flowers on a shrine, and you'll notice that the flowers here aren't arranged in a very special fancy arrangement. They're just put on the shrine, and they let them decay on the shrine because they are there to remind us of our mortality. So we watch them decaying naturally. Also on a shrine, there's quite often pots of water to represent purity. The other thing to note that we've got here is that we've got a very small Bodhi tree, because when the Buddha sat down to meditate, when he became enlightened, he sat under a Bodhi tree. Bodhi trees in India grow very large, but unfortunately they don't like English weather, and we have a struggle to keep them alive. So we've only got a very small token Bodhi tree. And you will also notice in the background that there are an array of small white Buddhas, and those Buddhas represent the 28 Buddhas.
I am one of the leading Buddhist monks in this city as well as in this country from Sri Lanka. Since I came to this country, I have established Buddhist centers and Buddhist organizations. Normally, our Buddhist devotees come to the temple to pay respect to the Buddha with some flowers, joysticks, and candles. And they light in front of the Buddha statue. Actually, it is not a prayers or praying, it is only respect to his qualities. During the last 30 years, wherever, if there was any kind of natural disaster, either earthquake, tsunami, or whatever, we have been helping under United Nations. Buckingham Palace awarded me OBE, Order of British Empire. In this case, actually, we are working not only for the Buddhist, but all the communities, regardless of their culture, creed, religion, faith, or whatever, we are having in our mind kindness and compassion.
Now we're going to talk about the Vietnamese shrine. Normally in a Vietnamese shrine you would see 3 Buddhas, all of the same size, along the back of the shrine. But here we've got the main Buddha and we've compromised slightly, and there are 2 smaller Buddhas in front of the Buddha here. The other image that we would see is an image of Kuan Yin, and she's over here to this side. Kuan Yin here is represented as a Chinese princess in her beautiful flowing robes and holding a pot which contains the tears of her compassion. And this is Sitagabu. He's also another bodhisattva. This bodhisattva promised that he would help people that were in hell to get out of hell. In Buddhism, any state that you are born into is not permanent, and so you can get out of a hell state. He's usually dressed in red robes, and in one hand he holds a gift-granting jewel, and in the other he holds a trident so that you can hear when he is coming. This is the memorial chapel, and as you can see there's a seated version of Sitagabu down here. The memorial chapel came about because the Vietnamese people, they have a tradition of reverencing their ancestors and remembering their ancestors. So in the Buddhist tradition they have a chapel and they put up plaques for their departed relatives to remember them by. It's great to have the temple here, and it's been lovely to show you around. But Buddhism is about the daily life. The practice of Buddhism is in our daily life, and that's what it's all about.